In the macabre world of true crime, the term Black Widow conjures images of seductive yet deadly women who ensnare their victims with charm before unleashing their grisly intentions. These women metamorphose from loving partners into merciless killers, driven by the sinister motivation of financial gain. Through the stories of these notorious figures, we delve into a chilling realm where affection becomes a lethal weapon, weaving a tapestry of deception and murder that leaves a haunting legacy. Aileen Wuornos serves as a haunting embodiment of this treacherous archetype. Often portrayed as a victim of her circumstances, Wuornos' trajectory from troubled youth to infamous killer reveals a complex interplay of survival and malice. As she lurked in the shadows of night, picking up men under the guise of necessity, her true motivations slowly surfaced. The guise of self-defense soon transformed into a pattern of calculated murders, driven not just by revenge, but by the financial rewards that followed. In her twisted narrative, each life taken brought a momentary respite from a life filled with misery, culminating in her eventual capture and execution, an enduring symbol of the perilous intersection of love and greed. Similarly, Nannie Doss, the Giggling Granny, drew the unsuspecting into her world with a facade of warmth and care, her gentle baking enticing them closer to doom. Over 15 years, Nannie weaved her web of lies, lacing her culinary creations with fatal intentions. Through intoxicating arsenic, she meticulously dismantled the lives of her partners and family, revealing layer after layer of betrayal. The laughter she emitted during her confessions only served as an eerie soundtrack to her dark legacy. Captured and tried, Doss's chillingly casual approach to her crimes raises unsettling questions about the depths of human deceit and the corrupting power of money. Lastly, Hazzard stands as a grim reminder that the thirst for wealth can drive individuals to the brink of madness. Her tragic story weaves an intricate portrait of manipulation and exploitation as she preyed upon the vulnerable under the guise of alternative medicine. Hazzard's chilling techniques stripped her victims of life in pursuit of profiting from their demise, embodying the archetype of a Black Widow well-versed in the art of deception. In her wake, the lives shattered reshape our understanding of trust, love, and the deadly consequences that lurk behind a seemingly innocent facade. Through these narratives, we confront the disquieting truth about human nature, the grotesque potential for affection to warp into a tool of ruthless ambition. In a world often captivated by the allure of charm and beauty, there lurks a dark reality known as the Black Widow phenomenon. Women like Aileen Wuornos carve their names into the grim pages of true crime history, thriving on the vulnerability of their victims. These women, often portrayed as nurturing figures, turned moments of intimacy into fatal traps that ensnared unsuspecting men, leading them to their demise for the sake of financial gain. Aileen Wuornos, a haunting spirit of American true crime, represented the paradox of survival and vengeance. A life marked by abandonment, abuse, and hardship prompted her deadly actions. Starting with a chilling claim of self-defense during the murder of Richard Mallory, Aileen painted a narrative of survival on the streets. However, as her string of murders unfolded, it became evident that a different motive lay beneath the surface: robbery. Aileen transformed her victims' trust into vulnerability, and the harsh reality of her life found a disturbing outlet in violence, leaving behind a legacy of pain and terror. Then there is the chilling tale of Nannie Doss, aptly named the Giggling Granny. With her warm smile and nurturing persona, Nannie skillfully hypnotized her victims into a false sense of security. But behind closed doors, she wielded a poison as cunning as her charm: arsenic. Each husband she murdered brought her closer to financial freedom through life insurance payouts, revealing a calculated design hidden beneath layers of familial affection. Her eventual capture, marked by an eerie confession punctuated by laughter, shocked the world and solidified her position as one of history's deadliest women. These tales of manipulation and murder highlight the dark complexities of the Black Widow archetype. The stories are not mere accounts of violent crime. They reflect deeper social issues of power, desperation, and the lengths one might go to escape a suffocating existence. As we delve into these sordid histories, we uncover not just the faces of these women, but the chilling realization that they skillfully turned affection into a lethal weapon, leaving behind a trail of broken lives and shattered trust. Such narratives remind us that darkness can reside where we least expect it, in the guise of love and care. In the depths of human nature, the act of betrayal can manifest in the most horrifying ways, especially when it is disguised by charm and grace. The phenomenon of Black Widow murders highlights a tragic interplay between manipulation and murder, where women exploit affection for lethal ends. These tragic tales reveal not only the darkness within humanity, but also a gripping desire for financial gain. The narrative of Aileen Wuornos stands out starkly within this grim theme. Known as one of America's most notorious female serial killers, Wuornos began her deadly cycle cloaked in the guise of self-defense. Living a life marred by abuse and hardship, she encountered men who took advantage of her vulnerability. Her initial act of violence was ostensibly an act of survival against a rapist. Yet as her spree unfolded, the reality of her motivations blurred. The allure of financial gain revealed itself, as each killing was followed by robbery, creating a chilling pattern driven by desperation. On another front, we confront Nannie Doss, the so-called Giggling Granny. Beneath her warm facade lay an insatiable hunger for money that drove her to poison her husbands. Her innocent baking and caring middle-class appearance belied the cold-blooded nature behind her actions. Doss's methodical approach of using arsenic only exemplified her cunning. In her mind, each husband's death ensured a timely payout of life insurance, which she eagerly awaited. Her cheerful demeanor as she confessed her crimes sent shivers down the spine, embodying the duality of charm and malevolence. The story of Linda Mae Hazzard adds another layer to the dark tapestry of Black Widow crimes. Hazzard, who masqueraded as a holistic doctor, lured her victims with promises of health and rejuvenation, only to exploit them emotionally and financially. She preyed on the sick and weak, utilizing methods that led to slow and agonizing deaths. Her insidious approach crafted a perfect storm where medical deception blended seamlessly with murder, showcasing her manipulative prowess. These cases resonate deeply with society, revealing the chilling reality that not all predators are obvious. The women who embody the Black Widow archetype remind us of the risks lurking behind smiles, shattering our notions of trust and love. They serve as dark mirrors of society, reflecting how betrayal can wear beautiful masks, ultimately leading to devastation and despair. In the realm of true crime, the tales of Black Widow murders are as chilling as they are captivating. This term refers to a specific group of women who used charm and cunning to ensnare their victims, only to ultimately betray them in the most lethal of ways. Their stories encapsulate a dangerous duality of love and lethal intent, painting a picture of deception that often leads to fatal ends. The allure of these women lies not just in their ability to attract, but in their profound manipulation, as they transform relationships into deadly traps designed for financial gain. One striking example is that of Aileen Wuornos, whose life tells a tragic tale of abandonment and betrayal. Employed in the sex trade, she portrayed herself as a victim, claiming self-defense against men who sought her services. However, as the chilling details of her multiple murders emerged, the line between victim and perpetrator blurred. Wuornos executed her victims, a series of men, under the guise of vengeance, yet a darker truth revealed itself. Her actions were motivated by the prospect of robbery and the monetary benefits that followed their demise. Her eventual capture and execution marked the end of a life filled with suffering, showcasing the desperate lengths this woman was driven to. Another notorious figure is Nannie Doss, infamously referred to as the Giggling Granny. At first glance, she epitomized the perfect homemaker, warm and nurturing. Yet beneath that facade lay a sinister truth. Over the course of 15 years, she methodically poisoned 5 husbands, her mother and a grandson, all while maintaining her charming personality. Using arsenic, a gradual, almost insidious poison, her methods reflected a twisted yet calculated approach to murder. The life insurance policies of her deceased husbands constituted her ghastly motive. She sought not vengeance but financial reassurance, cloaked in the garb of familial love. The discovery of her pattern brought her facade crumbling down, leading to her chilling confession that bore a haunting indifference to the crimes she had committed. Lastly, Linda Mae Hazzard's story threads through the annals of Black Widow tales. Often less known but equally disturbing, Hazzard posed as a health practitioner while using her authority to manipulate wealthy individuals seeking alternatives to traditional medicine. Her so-called treatments led to the slow deaths of multiple victims, paving the way for her to inherit their fortunes. The depths of her deceit shine a light on how the facade of care can mask the truth of ruthlessness. Each of these women, though distinct in their stories, share a common thread woven through the fabric of manipulation and lethal intent. They remind us that darkness often lurks beneath the most charming exteriors, transforming trust into a dangerous gamble. In the murky waters of historical misdeeds, few figures stand out as chillingly as Linda Mae Hazzard, known infamously as the Starvation Doctor. Operating in the early 1900s, Hazzard leveraged her unlicensed medical practice under the guise of fasting therapy, branding it as a miraculous cure for varied ailments. However, beneath this veneer of benevolence lay a sinister reality. Hazzard's practices were nothing short of a death sentence disguised as treatment. Her most notorious case involved Claire Williamson, a woman of considerable wealth and deep trust. Seeking relief from what seemed to be a minor ailment, Claire found herself ensnared in Hazzard's web of deception. With promises of healing and rejuvenation, Hazzard subjected Claire to extreme fasting, turning her body into a mere shadow of its former self. No longer the vibrant woman filled with life, Claire succumbed to her ravaged state, leaving behind an estate exceeding $100,000 that would enrich Hazzard's coffers. Her tragic demise raises the question of how much greed can cloud the judgment of one who masquerades as a healer. The fallout from this gruesome tale was swift and unforgiving. The public's outrage, fueled by a growing awareness of Hazzard's malicious intents, sparked investigations that peeled back the layers of her cruel charade. Witness accounts from surviving patients, who had narrowly escaped her clutches, painted an alarming picture of neglect and exploitation under the guise of care. Eventually, justice caught up with Hazzard, leading to her conviction for manslaughter, a chilling proclamation that stripped away her facade and revealed the true horror of her actions. Hazzard's life ended in 1938, but the ripple effects of her deceit have echoed through time, serving as a harrowing reflection on the dangerous intersection of trust and malignance. Her story is a poignant warning about vulnerability and the potential for wickedness when greed becomes the guiding light. This dark chapter in history compels us to remember that even those in positions of perceived authority may wield their power with the darkest of intentions, forever shaping the lives, sometimes in irreversible ways, of those who place their trust in them. In the glimmering world of New York City, where skyscrapers touch the clouds, a sinister tale unfolds in the shadows of the alleyways. Sante, a master manipulator, lured her son Kenneth into a twisted underworld marked by deception, greed, and ultimately, murder. Their bond surpassed all societal norms, entwining their fates in a chilling narrative of crime driven by an insatiable thirst for wealth. Sante was no ordinary criminal. She lived for luxury and power, teaching Kenneth to share in her relentless pursuit. Together, their web of deceit spun out of control as they orchestrated a series of fraudulent schemes that captivated the city's underbelly. But it was the heinous crime against Aileen Silverman, an unsuspecting elderly widow, that etched their names in infamy. With glinting eyes and hearts consumed by greed, they planned to seize Aileen's magnificent mansion, blind to the darkness of their actions. The disappearance of Aileen Silverman in 1998 sent shockwaves through Manhattan. The wealthy widow, known for her grace and hospitality, became the victim of a cold, calculated plot. Despite the absence of her body, a constellation of evidence, meticulously orchestrated by Sante and Kenneth, illuminated the path to their guilt. The forged documents, stolen identities, and meticulous planning unraveled, laying bare their corrupt alliance and the chilling reality of their crimes. In the courtroom, as the gavel fell, both were convicted and sentenced to life behind bars. Yet, the most disturbing revelation came from Kenneth himself. Underneath his mother's overpowering influence, he admitted to being ensnared in her manipulation, a pawn in her deadly games. The chilling notion that a mother would mold her son into a cold-hearted criminal raises unsettling questions about accountability and the nature of their relationship. The story of Sante and Kenneth treads heavy on the dark side of motherhood. This macabre partnership, driven by greed and manipulation, leaves a lingering question. Was Kenneth simply a victim of Sante's ruthless grip, or does guilt dwell equally within him? As their mugshots graced newspaper headlines, the world bore witness to one of the most disturbing mother-son alliances in the annals of crime history, reminding us of the complex and often chilling bonds that can exist within the family unit. Betty Neumar's life unfolded like a twisted fairy tale, where love was merely a pretense and death loomed on the horizon. As wedding photos transitioned into haunting funeral shots, the stark contrast painted an unsettling portrait of a bride shrouded in shadows. Married multiple times, Betty charmed her way into the hearts of her husbands, each a stepping stone in a chilling game. With each union, vows echoed promises of forever, only to dissolve in a cloud of mystery and death. The cycle of matrimony and misfortune captivated investigators, leading them down a path lined with life insurance documents stamped, "Approved." The narrative took a darker turn with the death of her sixth husband, Harold Gentry, in 2007. What had merely been speculation transformed into scrutiny, as the authorities pieced together a disturbing pattern. Each husband met an untimely demise, with every conclusion pointing to the woman who benefited from their legacies with chilling consistency. Betty stood unyielding in her claims of innocence, while the shadows of suspicion grew ever closer. In 2008, the walls closed in as Betty was arrested, alleged to be the orchestrator of her husband's chilling ends. The evidence, an intricate tapestry woven with deceit and greed, painted her as more than just an unlucky bride. It suggested a methodical mastermind who manipulated the very institution of marriage for financial gain. Her courtroom drama never fully unfolded, as she slipped away from the mortal coil herself in 2011, leaving a trail of suspense and unanswered questions. Betty's legacy extended far beyond her life, lingering as a haunting reminder of trust betrayed in the name of affection. "Till death do us part" became a sinister proclamation, turning sacred vows into orchestrations of demise. The echoing question remains: was she simply a widow cursed by fate, or a cunning predator thriving in the shadows of loss? In the aftermath, as the dust settled, the legacy of Betty Neumar stirred intrigue and horror alike. Would you dare to label her as unlucky in love, or see the truth? A chilling figure who wielded marriage like a weapon, savoring in the profits of her deadly pursuits? Perhaps the answer is as complex and dark as the story that is forever entwined with her name. In the shadows of society lurk women who donned the guise of care and compassion, luring their unsuspecting victims into a web of deceit. These modern-day Black Widows, from Wuornos to Kimes, embodied a chilling duality, skillfully juxtaposing tenderness with treachery. Each case reveals a haunting narrative of manipulation, where love was merely a bait concealing a deadly intent, illuminating the notion that not all predators wear fangs and claws. Many wear smiles that mask vicious ambition. Consider Aileen Wuornos, who transformed from a victim of circumstance into an infamous predator. Raised in a world rife with abuse, her heart hardened over time, leading her to prey upon men who sought to offer affection but instead became her victims. The allure of a seemingly vulnerable woman morphed into a mask of malevolence, leading to multiple brutal murders, giving her the notoriety of a killer with a tragic background. Then there is Nannie Doss, known as the Giggling Granny. Behind her laughter lay a calculating mind willing to eliminate those she claimed to love for monetary gain. Poison became her weapon of choice, a deadly concoction that transformed her smile into a grim specter haunting her family. With each husband she buried, she wove a narrative of love extinguished not by fate, but by her own hands. The comfort of oatmeal cookies turned sinister as she fed her loved ones their last meal, disguising her dark intentions within the warmth of family gatherings. The haunting pattern of greed continues with Dorothea Puente, who misled others with her facade of care as she ran a boarding house. By nurturing her tenants, she cloaked her true motives, turning her home into a tomb. Her kind demeanor was a mere prelude to the grim discovery of bodies buried in her backyard, revealing the duality of human nature, where love can often mask the darkest of deeds. As these stories intertwine, we recognize that the real predators exist not in the dark corners, but among us, alluringly whispering sweet promises of affection while concealing a chilling agenda. The Black Widow murders encapsulate the concept that danger can thrive in the most ordinary of scenarios, compelling us to look closer at those we trust. Who among us could be hiding a sinister truth behind a loving facade? If these real-life stories of the Black Widow taught you any lesson, click on the subscription button for more chilling stories like these, and postulate your own story in the comment section of our community. Thanks for watching.